Let's take a look at a categorical variable along with a quantitative variable. So I have some data here based on a study done on mice. So they had a group of mice all the same age. Each mouse was given a transfusion. The blood in the transfusion was either from an older mouse or from a younger mouse. So we have two categories, whether the mouse got a transfusion from older blood or a transfusion of younger blood. Then they were put on a treadmill and see how many minutes they could keep going on the treadmill. And so what we want to see is there a difference in the amount of time the mouse with the young blood spent on the treadmill compared to the mice with the old blood? Let's find out. Now, to do this in Google Sheets or Excel, we'd have to set up frequency tables and do all the statistics first. So I'm just going to take you to stat key where it has some pre-set up applications to do this quicker. So we're going to take again a look at categorical versus quantitative variable. So first step is we highlight the data in question and copy it. And we find our way over to stat key and go to the one categorical, one quantitative variable section. We're going to replace their data with ours. And what they do here is they'll give us a histogram comparison, box plot comparison, and a dot plot comparison for the two categorical variables. We're going to use our data. So highlight the data that's given here, delete it, so you have a nice blank slate there, and then paste in your data. So here's my young and old, and I do have headers at the top saying what each column below means. So I do need that box checked. If you don't have the headers at the top, don't check that box. Okay, so here's the dot plot. Okay, histogram. Oh, interesting. The young ones seem to have spent more time on this treadmill than the ones with the old blood. Box plot. Similarly, we can see there's a little more variation on the young ones, but the median for the young blood mice, so there's again, mice all the same age, the young ones got, that young means they received transfusion of blood from a younger mouse. Old means a mouse got a transfusion of blood from a mouse older than they were. And we can see that that median is way less, even Q3 for the older mice. So 75% of the older mice spent less time on the treadmill than half of the mice with the old blood. I think that's a pretty good observation we can make from this. So let's do that in a new sheet. So we just put it in here. So remember, if you want to use screenshots of stat key in a Google Doc or Google Sheet, you can't, it looks like you can save the image, but it doesn't work. You have to do a screenshot. I'm going to use my snipping tool for that. And usually I use the rectangular snip, new one. And oops, I was on the wrong page, escape. There's the right page. Snipping tool, new. So then draw a rectangle around the right part. And if you don't quite get it right, then just new, do it again. So sometimes I don't have my mouse in the right position when I make my copy. The trick, I think, is to find a convenient corner to start at. So I think the upper right one probably would have been a better way to go. So here I have it. So now I can take that, maybe I'll stick it in my spreadsheet. So I have to copy it, go to my spreadsheet, and I can paste it in. And then I can type up my observation. That's a wee bit big. Shrink it down a little bit. All right. So my observation is about what I see with the quartiles here. So in particular, what caught my eye here is that the median for the mice that got the transfusion of young blood, their median was way higher than even like the 75th percentile for the mice that had the old transfusion. So I think that's an observation worth making. And I want to, let's see, I'll just type in here, it's okay. Let's see, 50%. Let's see, 50%, something like that. Mice transfusion, young blood is significantly higher than the, let's see, the lower 75% is, or I guess I could just say 75%. It's lower than, is higher than 75% of mice received transfusion. Younger, this one is old blood. All right, so again, 50th percentile of mice who receive the transfusion of young blood is significantly higher than 75% of mice, right? This is the third quartile that marks where 75% of mice are at or below that. 75% of mice who receive the transfusion of old blood. So look at this and see what other comments you could make about the differences. In this case, I chose to use the box plot to explain the difference I saw, but you might have seen something interesting in the histogram here, so you can point out the differences between them. All right, fun comparing data sets.